Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Natasha Brown, and we have a new pope with ties to the Philadelphia area. As you have seen there, he is an American pope who went to Villanova University. Good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for joining us. Papal history has been made today. Take a look at this. Just a bit ago, this is who we saw. Robert Francis Prevost, now Pope Leo XIV, appear on the balcony at St. Peter's Basilica, the 267th pope to lead the world's 1.4 billion Catholics. The first American pope was born in Chicago. He is 69 years old. He earned his Bachelor of Science in Mathematics in 1977 from Villanova University before getting a Master's of Divinity from Catholic Theological Union in Chicago in 1982. Pope Leo XIV is a dual citizen of the United States and Peru. He spent decades in Peru. In 2023, he was appointed cardinal by Pope Francis. When Pope Leo addressed the crowd earlier, his first words were, "Peace be with you." Well, we are going to check in now with Joe Holden. He is live at the Cathedral Basilica of Saints Peter and Paul in Center City, Philadelphia. He's got reaction from folks in our area. Again, papal history has been made. Joe Holden, the first American pope to represent billions of Catholics around the world.
Well, Natasha, can we sum it up with one word? Wow. The shock that really swelled over the workers here at the Archdiocese of Philadelphia as we were huddled with them watching the announcement. You know, white smoke meant to this news crew. I'm joined by Alan Wheeler behind the camera. We dropped what we were doing and we rushed over here to the Cathedral Basilica of Saints Peter and Paul. We went into the noontime mass that was in progress. A priest by the name of Monsignor John Savinsky was in the sanctuary distributing communion. And we realized that few in that congregation knew that there had actually been a decision. So the white smoke and about a 2-hour gap, and then we learn all of the ties that Cardinal Robert Prevost has to the Philadelphia Archdiocese. Someone texted me, hey, this guy lived in Delco for a short time. No disrespect, but a Villanova graduate, an Augustinian with numerous Augustinian educational institutions across South Jersey and the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. Monsignor Bonner and Archbishop Prendergast, St. Augustine Prep in South Jersey, in Hamilton, and of course Villanova University, an Augustinian stronghold. We heard from Bishop John McIntyre, who is an auxiliary bishop of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. He described the message sent in this election, that they chose a man whose life's work was to be someone who went to areas in deep need of faith. And he was a priest who missioned in these areas, in Peru, of course, where he was cardinal as of late, as of 2023. So what happened behind the scenes? Well, we were invited in. We were invited in to the sacristy here at the cathedral, where Father Dennis Gill, who was the rector, usually the man out in front of things like this, he was out at the seminary. So his next in command, Monsignor Savinsky, was ordered, get ready to ring the bells when they make that announcement of Pope Leo XIV. So, I mean, it was hectic. And watching the priests with tears at moments in their eyes. Let's go ahead and roll some of my interaction with Monsignor John Savinsky, a pastor from Delaware County, more recently now one of the cardinals, make that the Archbishop's Masters of Ceremony, and also lives here at the Basilica. Let's have a listen.
This is really exciting. This is unbelievable.
To Tony DeCopel, who is in St. Peter's Square, who is running into people in St. Peter's Square that he has met.
You're emotional.
Yeah, I just, wow, it's just so exciting.
It's an amazing thing. I've got 2 quick notes.
There's such a void when there's no Holy Father. There's a void.
We're in a crowd of thousands, tens of thousands. And over the last 2 days, we've talked to
this is
dozens of
just.
people.
You're at an appropriate spot. There's Pope Francis right over your shoulder.
Oh, yeah, he's looking right over us. Wow. This is really amazing.
It's quite a shock or a surprise. I never expected to see one of the Americans walk out on the balcony, to be honest with you. But I suspect as the cardinals talked those days when they had the daily congregational meetings and they got to know each other and had a chance to speak about the church and its needs at this point in its history, that candidates begin to emerge, and perhaps he was a candidate that kind of came out of the middle.
So we were with Auxiliary Bishop John McIntyre, who you just saw there on your screen, and dozens of workers from the Archdiocese who huddled into an auditorium and watched on the big screen the announcement of Pope Leo XIV. So much to dissect here, and you're wondering the normal faces in front of this. I mentioned Father Dennis Skill. He's out teaching at the seminary. How about Archbishop Nelson Perez? Well, he happens to be on a plane returning from Italy. He'll be here later on this evening. But I have to mention that without his presence here, his next in command have been doing a really good job of helping us understand the moment in time and really what the significance is. Again, first American-born Pope. The elevation speaks volumes. The question about the brevity, how brief deliberating and voting, things that we will never know, conducted in secret, and yet, according to Bishop McIntyre, an American cardinal from the outset was not seen as a front runner in any of this, and yet it appears that there was something that persuaded the cardinals in their deliberation process that he is the man for the job. He is the guy for now. Natasha?
Well, certainly we could feel that emotion there from the church there that you were talking to some of the folks there who are just emotional about this moment. It was an unexpected moment. Again, papal history being made here with the first American Pope, and some of the first statements he said, Pope saying the church is for everyone, Joe. That was just part of his comments when he stepped out there on the balcony. Joe, what are you thinking here? He was, elevated by Pope Francis in 2023. Are you expecting his leadership style and his mission to kind of continue in Pope Francis's legacy?
So we are looking quickly at his biography and doing it within the last 30 to 45 minutes. The sheer shock that it is an American-born cardinal, now Pope, is one thing. But what's his life's work been about? Well, it's been about missionary work, not the easy show up 9 to 5, sit behind a desk, not inferring or making that is what does happen with some instances in the church. But this is a man who went to an area that they say needed the church. He is an Augustinian. That is one of the walks of priestly life where they actually do take a vow of poverty. They live very simple lives. I'm a product of Monsignor Bonner. The Augustinians taught me. So if we are looking at some of what makes this man a priest and how his work has touched the faithful, is that he has a spirit of generosity, that what guides him are principles of St. Augustine, who was a man of deep trouble early in his life. There's so much to really digest here, but there is symbolism in how this will move the papacy forward. Very much, it seems to be potentially in line with Francis. Is it a gentler church? Is it less rigid than some may have expected things would turn out? Possibly yet to be seen, but certainly in the spirit of compassion of the heart, and generous spirit. That is what, for years knowing Augustinian priests, that is what makes them tick. So even while we've been off air waiting to join you, I'm reaching out to local Augustinians to say, do you know this man? Because that's just how tight the order of Augustinians is. There's a priest from Delaware County, born and raised in Drexel Hill. His name is Father Joe Farrell. He has a very significant position in Rome with the Augustinians. I've not been able to reach him yet. I drop his name, though, because he is in a higher level of the order of Augustinians that he certainly does know now. Pope Leo XIV. It is just something surreal to mention and to be a part of, and to have witnessed it with lots of workers from the Archdiocese and beginning to understand what this means for the church, the fundamentals, the principles, and all of that packaged together, what it means going forward.
And just the Philadelphia connection, Joe, and the pride that that brings to this area. We can only imagine. We saw many of the faithful there who had gathered at St. Peter's Square, just awaiting word, awaiting that white smoke to come from the chimney. We heard the thunderous applause and the reaction there in Rome. We can only imagine if all of us here in the United States and the Catholics in the U.S. and especially in the Philadelphia area had been gathered in one place when this happened. We can only imagine the pride that would have been exuded at that moment.
I guess we're wondering, did he pick up any Eagles fan base, material when he was here? I'm sorry, it is a very, it's an obvious layup here that we have to take. But what is the backstory of Robert Prevost as a student from Villanova? We know he graduated with a degree in math. And then what was it about his experience at that university that then said, I think I'm going to be an Augustinian priest? And I know from lots of stories and, significant in my own life's experience is an Augustinian priest by the name of Father Bill Atkinson, who is now on the path to sainthood, an Upper Darby native like myself. But this man was the church's first ordained quadriplegic priest. He was critically injured in a toboggan accident, but then went on in his life to teach and to mentor thousands of men. So much to look at here, Natasha, and we're busy getting after it.
All right, well, we cannot wait to see how his leadership plays out and get more reaction from you, Joe. We do appreciate your reports there from the Cathedral Basilica of St. Peter and Paul. Thank you so much. We actually now, Joe, are going to go to Stephanie Stahl. She is on the campus of Villanova University, where Pope Leo XIV graduated back in 1977. Stephanie, what's been the reaction there today?
Euphoria. Absolute euphoria on this campus. I don't know if you can hear in the distance, the bells are still ringing. And here on the campus of Villanova, it's moving out day for the students. So there was already a lot of excitement, a lot going on. And then everybody was gathered around TVs listening for the big announcement. And when they heard that it was somebody from this campus who graduated back in 1977, a math major, who is going to be the new pope, well, you can imagine. And get this, I just talked to a professor and a student who were in Rome in October. They were on a special mission there, and guess who was there? Cardinal Prevost. They have a picture of them with him. They're holding up V signs for Villanova. There's a big group of students and some of the clergy there. Cardinal Prevost at the time was among them. They say he was amazing. Nice guy, great guy. They can't say enough wonderful things about him. Little did they know at the time when they were taking that picture with the V signs for Villanova, the man they were standing next to would go on to become Pope Leo. So people are so excited here. There's lots of people gathering around, scrambling, lots of media, as you can imagine. You can see people here gathered at the corner of Lancaster and Ithan, and there's traffic everywhere because, as I said, students are moving out. So there's lots of parents here. There are Villanova students. There are alumni. There is the administration. So lots of people gathering here on the campus of Villanova University, a historied campus that will now claim the first American pope went to school here at Villanova. So the history and the pageantry of Villanova with the bells still ringing. We're going to be over to the church in a little bit just to see what the scene is there, because people are scrambling all over this campus, as you can imagine. So Natasha, it's lots of excitement over here.
Yeah, I can see everyone kind of buzzing around there, and I can only imagine the pride that's being exuded from many of the students and the staff there, just knowing this connection now to the man who will lead the Catholic Church.
Exactly. It's amazing. You know, this campus is filled. I mean, they have a history with their basketball, with many of the students here. There is lots of history when you talk about Villanova, nestled out here on this beautiful campus out on the main line, Villanova University. But now, perhaps one of the biggest bragging rights it has is that our new pope hailed from Villanova University. Anyway, in 1977, when he was here graduating with a degree in mathematics, as we heard in that amazing speech from Rome, he speaks many languages. He is, we are told, a very thoughtful, very brilliant, a very academic individual. And much of that started here. Those roots started here, Villanova University.
All right, more history being made there. Thank you so much, Stephanie. We do appreciate that. Now, we also want to show you this video now from St. Peter's Square earlier today that has us feeling lots of Philly pride here. A man in an Eagles hat and a Phillies jersey holding an American flag, celebrating the election of the first American Pope. I mean, you can't get more Philadelphia than that. That is just amazing. And as I said, just hearing that crowd erupt in applause and thunderous celebration at the site of the first American Pope, the 267th Pope to lead the Catholic Church. So we are certainly happy about the local connection, the Philadelphia connection to the new Pope, Pope Leo XIV. We will have much more local reaction to Pope Leo XIV throughout the evening. Make sure to stay with us here on CBS Philadelphia, both on air and online, and on our streaming service. We have reporters and photographers at Villanova right now. They're going to be bringing us reports from campus and plenty of reaction to Pope Leo's election.